pulled a couple of panels off, and there's the RAS bars right there actually.
You are now watching the 2023 season of Farming with Duffy Ag.
Welcome back to the channel. Should be our last day of needing to help out with any corn silage for anybody else. So hopefully after today, we're just gonna do our corn silage. Well, what I have to do for myself and with my machine. So appreciate you guys watching along. I'm gonna just grain the calves and we are gonna get rolling into the day. So, and we're off. Hopefully, well, probably last job I'll be doing any cart work as far as corn silage. So just me and the chopper going up the road a little bit. Chop pretty much right next to the farm. It's gonna be a little wet conditions as far as the ground, but we'll get it all done. Where we're at, what we're doing today, finishing up a job that they actually started. This was the very first job of the season, so 40 days ago, and they got all the wet spots off, all the wet fields off. They got a pile that they already made. We're gonna make another pile with corn that needed more time to mature. That was the plan. And so we're coming right back to it. Right after. First load almost buried. Definitely not good. But you can see they took off all the lower stuff in hopes that when we came back the rest of it wouldn't be in such wet, but as we all know, it ain't stopped raining. It's chilly today, which it is fall, but the weather for this weekend looks like rain, and then we're still in the 60s and stuff like that, and lows in the low 40s. So it might actually have a pretty good late fall. Wrapped up this job. Really honestly didn't show you guys much at all because, well, we just played in the mud, but he's got a drive over pile here that he's been working on, and you know, another job done. I am gonna get fuel, head back to Aaron's. They got to move the chopper around. Well, we got to move the chopper around with Isaiah. Yeah, battling in the mud. So today is day 35 that chopper's run in some way, other than the one day. Granted, we haven't been for everyone. We took 4 days off, 4 or 5 days off. Yeah, it's been pretty grueling. This dump cart was the only way that field was gonna get chopped off. So less than ideal, but what else are you gonna do? I know the people saying just wait. That corn was pretty on point. So it's good that they chopped off the early stuff and then they waited and we came back and did the rest. When they first came here and chopped off the early stuff, they pulled every truck through the mud. So, alrighty, I'm gonna jump up here and fuel up. Good to be done. Well, we are moving to the next job and Isaiah's lost. Just touring the country. Hey bud, have you looked it up on Google Maps where we're going? Yeah. I looked it up on Google Maps too, bud. Okay, we'll be a little incognito. So this is an Amish farm, clearly. Aaron's chopping for them, and they're running wagons into a silo, I believe, or bags or whatnot. So Amish with all the technology, freaking rototiller, everything. Little dog, right to place. Hay buster, seeder, manure spreader, everything towed by horses. Usually they don't like you filming them. Yeah, the kids are all sitting inside. I don't know if I should go down there or not. Hay storage, mixer wagon. Oh yeah. I think they were hauling manure out. I think Yakubuchis were hauling manure. T15 with steel wheels. They're doing power line work, and oh, they're all done pulling it. They got the trailer that pulls lines through. Pretty wild. Oh, there's the Challenger. Yeah. Pull trucks through. Huh. Oh, they're combining over there. What's it say on the side of that combine?
Color of money.
Color of money. Green combine. 8630. Diving into the 8820. So we got to pull the feeder house out to get to the RAS bars. They should be here tomorrow. I did just download. I want it in the hard copy, so I'm gonna have to print it all out. All 1900 pages, 1924 pages of technical manual, and then operator's manual, and then parts manual. So I'll have everything printed out when I get over to a Staples or something like that. And yeah, we got to get this cover off. We got to get that belt off. We got to get the hydraulic lines unhooked coming this way. Take the hydraulic lines off there. And yeah, it'll be some learning. Pulled a couple of panels off, and there's the RAS bars right there actually. So I'm thinking I can just change them while it's in there. We're going to check everything, chain tightness, change some chains out, some belts that I have noticed are, well, you can see, and you can see. This is a newer belt. Some of these belts are good. Some are falling apart. So, but what I got to do, I want to be able to spin that RAS bar, which is this. You can spin it, but you're spinning everything else at the same time. So, and that belt has to come off anyways to change it, which also means this belt has to come off to change because it goes with it. So we got to do some figuring on that. Got the tensioner bolt out. So now, yeah, we got room. Yeah, so now we can get that off. We're gonna have to get this one off too. Got the belt somewhat off. Got the tensioner loose. We got to have some more ability to move that. I might be missing something tonight. I'll sit down and read through the book a little more. But that allows that to spin. So should be good to go now. We can move up front. You got the old light, rocking it, keeping the lights going. And I'll get a bunch of belts ordered. So that we're good. I'm learning. I'm a little behind. We have been doing a lot of trucking. But now that we're here, we can climb up in there and reach in and get what we need. So my initial thoughts were pull the feeder housing out. And which takes taking this belt off, taking that belt off, hoses, cylinders, and some forklift or forks to pull it out of the way, or propping it up, backing up. And I was like, alrighty. And then when I pulled those covers off, I was like, they're right there. And so I've been battling this for just about 2 hours. I did get that belt off and whatnot, but I've only made it to take off 2 of the plates, which now I can reach in. The problem is there's plates in between each RAS bar, blocker plates or whatnot there. And yeah, getting onto the backside of those nuts is very challenging, especially when you're at that angle. So probably pulling it out. And I talked to Dana Prouty, who has Dana's got a 6620. So the little brother of this. And then there's a 7720, and then there's an 8820. So this is an 8820. It's just got a lot more capacity through it. it's a big machine. So biggest of the time that Deere made. But he said it took him an hour to pull the feeder house out of the 6620, which granted, I believe a 6620 is maybe half of what this feeder housing is. So I probably should have pulled the feeder housing, and I'm probably going to kick myself because putting them back in, I'm going to be in the same scenario. But at least if I get them off and I could get some help to watch as I pull it apart and put it back together, then we'll be in a lot better place. So either way, I was going to struggle through those bolts. I probably would have been more comfortable if the feeder housing wasn't there and I could walk right up to them and work on it. But we got one row out. Let me spin it around and show you. Right there, whole one row. So now we can reach right in and actually put a wrench on the backside. I don't have a magnet any longer to hold you guys. It all fell apart today, so today was a sad day. We're gonna upgrade our magnet setup. We also have a hose that's dripping. This hose is wet, so we got to figure out what's dripping from that. Otherwise, I have yet to see another wet hose, which is good, or a drip at all. So we got to run through all the fluids tomorrow. But I'm gonna keep chugging away at that. It is about 8:30. I could use some outside light. He goes over there. I don't know if you guys can see anything. Nope. He goes, yeah, he's sitting right there in the middle of it. And I think I got some outside lights coming, I think. So, same with some more shop lights to finish off the right-hand work bay light. Robert got his car apart completely. Parts were supposed to be here today. They're going to be here tomorrow, so the Camry will live again. But, alrighty, I'm going to keep chugging along on this. It's honestly slow going. So, previously, we started diving into the 8820. Had some battles. We ran out of energy in daylight. Well, it was 9:30 before we got done. So, we got one set of pieces out of it. I forget what they're actually called, but blocking plates or whatnot. And realistically, we should probably just pull the feeder housing off and get in there and work on it. So I'm gonna mess around with that and see what we can get into. I came to the realization that this is gonna be such a pain to do it with the feeder house in, so I started getting everything off. Dana Prouty said it took him like an hour. Granted, this is my first time messing around with stuff. Stuff is seized up some. So I got this belt off. I got all the shields off. We got to take this belt off that actually comes from the unit. And, well, oh, there we go. I guess that might not go into there. So that's just the engagement side or something. So we got to take this belt off, pull the pins. We got one cable going down to the gearbox, and then what else do we got going on? Yeah, cylinders. So little tiny bolts that go through that hold those from popping up. On this side, I had to take it all off, the whole bracket, to be able to reach in and get it. I'm gonna pick that up. I should be able to pick that up and just set that over here. We should be good to go. This is still sitting in here. Put the nut back on probably. And then I should be able to back up and be good. Took the cable off. Got the pins, the cotter pins out of the bolt, out of the pins. Cotter pins out of the pins for the lift arms. We'll take some pressure off. Pop the pins out. Not exactly sure the best way of chaining it. I'm learning as I'm going here, you guys. But then we'll pop those up and back out. Well, now that we got it out, now that I know what I'm doing a little bit, that was a lot easier. Just had to know what to take off to go where. That's usually the case with your first time projects, even when you read through the parts manual or the tech manual. So what I'm going to do is get this all cleaned up, so we're not working in that. What I was looking at on these wedges that hold, so this round collar, which that one came off of something at some point, usually junkyard number or parts yard number. So that came off of something at one point, but like this is all in great shape. That one looks okay. So somebody did, when I was reading up on things, you look at how much these are worn, and I still got quite a bit of life left in this, in both of those, but they sit right in here, and that's what actually, that's your pivot point of the actual feeder house. So, and then what we're changing out is our rasp bars, since they have very little life left in them. You can see out here on the ends how much life there is there, and then you come to the middle where most of the product gets fed right into the middle. Yeah, not so much. So I did get all the belts ordered. There was 3 that weren't in stock locally, and one of them was that 4 rib belt. So they have it coming for me. I told them get it here ASAP because I want this project wrapped up. But in the meantime, we can go through things and look at stuff. And rasp bars should be here today, it says. So I'm hoping so, because then we can get it all. We can get that back in once we change those out. Yeah. Oh, all blown off. So I don't think the previous owner, well, at least not last fall, I don't think the previous owner ran any corn with this. It's sold with a I think it was a 30-foot. It might have been I think it was a 30-foot draper head, or what, platform head. No corn head. Clearly he did soybeans, since they're all packed in here, and you can see them all in there. And I gotta get the nuts out of here that I dropped. Oh, okay, that just fell in there. Yeah, the concaves, the bolts, well, they got a little bit in them, but we're gonna go ahead and take off rasp bars. I blew it out, but look at where we're at. So I'll lock that in place. As you see, I took 2 out of there. I am gonna look and make sure that they're out for delivery. Otherwise, I'm gonna be very unhappy. But let me throw a pry bar in and go from there. Just getting the first one out. FedEx rolled up. He goes, "Hey, I got some metal bars for you. New rasp bars." Oh yeah. Once we get that one out, you'll see. We'll compare the difference between them. So, okay, we're working along. So there's bolts that go in from this way through that hole, and then bolts that come out. And I got the first one out, and as you see, that is pretty smooth compared to the grooves on that. So that's the thing. The outside looks the same, but the inside, where a lot of the feed comes through, because when the feeder house comes up, that's just how it goes. So a lot of capacity of this machine, though. It takes quite a bit of work to take this apart, nuts and bolts, and you're constantly working with dirty material. Even though I blew stuff off and scraped stuff and blew stuff off, now that I got it all apart, I got all of them out. So yeah, not much life left in them. I did not realize that these were all movable. The outside ones are actually locked on, but the rest are just laying there. So I'm going to slide them all over. That way I can reach in, get everything cleaned out. I want to look at how everything looks. Just make sure no cracks or anything like that, and just start off fresh. I did realize this hydraulic leak that's coming. We got a hose clamp right there, and this line rubs on here. So I'm thinking we can undo it, put it on the other side. It is full of oil, which is less than ideal, because that's the feed over to the hydraulic pump. I've come to the realization that previously somebody ran a bunch of mud through this or something, got in some, because we are digging it all out. So it was all the way up to the back here in like a semicircle, so it must have got a slug, and they just kept running it. It got packed in there. So actually Robert's back from work. He's gonna work on his car when he gets the parts. But I'm just poking holes back through to get the mud out, clean everything up. The concaves themselves look really, really good, which I'm excited about. It's the new RAS bars with really good concaves. Should be ideal. What do you think? Yeah?
We'll be going at it here soon.
Well, we will be. How's it going? It's Dusty. It's Dusty. Amazon. Get one of these. Saves your life. I am very excited with how clean it is now. I got one more spot, I think, right there. But I had to stop, give Robert a hand. Robert, how's the car coming? We're getting there. That's what we like to hear. He's got a new wheel bearing, new hub, going back together. Hey, if you need a tie rod or a cotter pin, they're over there. So, anything for you, bud. Make sure you don't pull that CV axle out too. Yeah. How you doing? You having a good day? Yeah, you are. Got all the RAS bars in. It's a little bit of a process. They did give you directions. And it did say put some cardboard underneath so you don't lose all the nuts and bolts. Let me tell you, we're missing one, maybe, I think 2 nuts and bolts. But that's a good feeling. So we got to put the covers on, which are everywhere. I got to get hardware tomorrow. That is the plan. I am very pleased with it. Like, so in all honesty, that was about $1,200 for the bars. You get 8 bars for $1,200 with the hardware. Gives you a good peace of mind. Definitely a lot more left to it than anything. So I'm pleased with it. Got that through Shoop. We got some belts coming that are coming through United. But otherwise, I'm very glad that the concaves are clean. And moving forward, we should be in a good boat. So I might tighten some things up, or I might go in because it is like 45 degrees out. And it is 11 o'clock at night. So you guys pick and choose. But alrighty, Robert's car is out of the shop. We got that done. Hopefully tomorrow I'll have feeder house back on, and we'll see where the belts are. We got to run through a bunch of fluids, so that is part of my morning, and we will see what comes of it. But appreciate you guys watching along, like and subscribe and being part of the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one.